gears. My mom may have had Tylenol when she was pregnant with me. Now the bolt's stuck in the socket, and you have to throw it on the floor as hard as you can. Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to another video. So in this episode, I'm going to be trying to get all the gears out of this parts transmission case. So then my next step will be to put them all in that tractor, not the grill, the tractor, so that we can hopefully have it running and back in business by spring of next year. That's the plan anyway. Really hoping this all goes. I'm kind of scared of those clutches, but let's get to it. So when you're working with bolts like this, where the head is rusty and has rusted down, a good trick to use, if it's a standard bolt, you try to find a metric socket that's close to the standard size, because usually it's a little smaller. So like this bolt here is supposed to be 3/4, but you see how much slop that has? That would just round right off if that's stuck. But we have an 18 mil, and it's just snug on there. But if we take and beat it on with a hammer, this is a hammer, okay? Nice and tight, and then we can put torque to it to get it out. Now the bolt's stuck in the socket, and you have to throw it on the floor as hard as you can. Well, we got it up out. I kind of messed up my brake band there and cracked this one, but that's why I was doing it on the parts machine first, so that I know how to get it apart when we're working on the actual one without doing on our brakes like that. But shaft is up. Alright, we got the top gear set out. Man, these bearings are in so much better shape. Everything's in way better shape than it was on that tractor. Alright, let's get these bolts out of here and we'll pop that reverser out. Let's listen to that gear. Oh, it doesn't just spin free. I have to get some lube in that. Alright guys, so this here is the difference between a worn out, completely used up reverse gear and one that's in good shape. Listen. Now listen. Yeah, that was probably 90% of our transmission noise right there. So now we got to take this out, and this will be our last set of gears to take out of our parts transmission. Alright, so we knocked the nut off the back and then pulled the shaft straight out the front. There it is. These bearings are in great shape on this thing, man. Supper is served. It's gears. I have the gears out of this tractor on the bench in there, and the gears out of the parts transmission also on the bench. So here we are, a gear bonanza. We're gonna geek out about gears. First thing I'm gonna point out is these bearings. You see how silent that bearing is? This is out of the parts transmission. Makes no sound. Same with this one. No sound. Now this shaft is out of the RD4 that was making all the bad noises. And first things first, just listen to this bearing. And that thing is just completely junk. And we have this bearing up here, also junk with an 1/8 inch of play in it. All right, then we have our input shaft bearing with that much play in it. Definitely should not have a 1/4 inch of play in that bearing. And our pinion bearing, also very much not good. And then this is the pinion bearing out of our parts transmission. It's kind of tight. You see how it's tight and it doesn't have any play. That's how it's supposed to be. This is our input shaft. See how there's no play in that either? Also how it's supposed to be. But here's the kicker. What kind of saved us, and the reason everything in this transmission isn't just splattered to pieces, is because these bearings were so worn out. And I'll explain that. So when I very first got the tractor, this bearing in here went out. As you can see, it looks newer. It's because it's new. So I replaced it, and then I fished a magnet around in the pan and tried my best to get all these little rollers out. Because that roller is in that bearing. And I thought I got them out, but clearly I did not. Because if you watch my other video, I'll pin it, or I'll put it in a link in the description, where it's making a loud bang, bang, bang noise when I engage the clutch. That is because one of these little rollers got wedged in here. This is the actual piece I picked out of right there, and this tooth come by and it chipped the end of that tooth off. And then I don't know what happened to the other piece, but you'll see it in that other video. It actually wedged between this gear, where's the spot? Right here. So this actually got picked up in the gears and wedged between that gear there and this gear here. You see that spot? Because these gears ride together like this. If that makes sense to you. Like I said, we're geeking out about gears. But we're lucky that that bearing was so loose that when one of these got picked up by this gear and run up here, pinched in there, this gear come over the top, it actually had enough deflection that this gear actually deflected up and hopped over that and then continued around. Otherwise, we could have split the transmission case. It just would have been a very bad day. So, lucky for us, worn out bearings saved the tractor. At the same time, worn out bearings ruined the tractor. It's like Pandora's box of bearings. But anyway, that'll be it. That was a whole lot of gear rambling. My mom may have had Tylenol when she was pregnant with me. Alright folks, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. And we are actually supposed to get snow this weekend, which might really put a stop to my RD4 project. But I have all those gears. I got to take them, clean them all up, clean all the bearings out, and I might end up pushing that RD4 in here to get it put back together. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned for updates. Thanks for watching.